Hi guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to create your very own student survey that you can send home at the beginning of the school year. So here's a sample of what my student survey is that I usually send home with my students. A student survey can be sent for kids anywhere from kindergarten all the way through high school. For the younger grades, I would share this with parents and have them submit it. For the older students, you could share it with the students themselves and have them submit it to you. So this is what my student survey looks like. I have some logistical questions such as if students have any food allergies or health conditions I should be aware of. It's important to know if students have any food allergies, if we're having class celebrations, or if there's a snack donation, as well as health conditions, if the students have asthma or certain medications they need to be taking. I'd like to know ahead of time. Also, I include a question about transportation beginning of the school year because I need to know which kids need to go on the bus and which kids are going to be picked up by parents from the car, walking home, which kids are going to be in the after school program, etc. Then in the next page, I like to include questions about the student themselves. So I will call this a student's learning section. And the questions I have here are what is the child's strengths and what are some areas of improvement for the child. So the parents can answer this and tell me a little bit about the child, which will help me get an idea of where the student's abilities are. On the last page, I like to include just an open response type question where parents can share anything else they want me to know about their child, such as things that they enjoy, what motivates them, something that they're proud of their child, things that I can consider when I'm planning the school year. So this is what my survey looks like. Again, I usually send this at the beginning of the school year, as well as anytime I get new students mid-year. So now what I'm going to do is show you how to create a student survey for your class, how to personalize your student survey on Google Forms, how to share your student survey with parents and students, and lastly, how to view responses on your survey. To start, make sure you're signed in to your Google account. We're going to click on our Google Apps waffle and scroll down until we find the Google Forms icon. Then we're going to click on the plus sign to create a blank Google form. Make sure we give our Google form a name. We're going to title this Student Survey. The very first question is actually not going to be a question. It's going to be where the parents select the student name. We're going to title this first question Student Name. Then I'm going to change the question type to drop down, a drop down menu. You're going to start typing the names of the students in your class roster here. For the purposes of this video, I'm just going to name my students, student A, student B, student C, etc. After you've added all of the students' names from your class roster, you're going to click on the bottom that says required. You want to make sure that parents select the student name before continuing onto the student survey questions. All right, now that we're done with the very first part, we're going to add a question to our student survey. So I'm going to click on this little plus here to add a question. Now you can add as many questions or as few questions as you wish on your student survey. My first question will be in regards to student allergies. I'm going to change the question type multiple choice to checkbox. And this is the reason why. I want the parents to have three options. No, yes, and the third option is going to allow the parents to specify or give more information regarding that question. So I'm going to actually include yes, please specify below, and then I'm going to click on add other. That way parents have the option to click here and add more information to their response. Again, I'm going to click required at the bottom to make sure that parents don't skip any questions as they're filling out the survey. While you're working on your survey, if you want to check what it looks like, you can click on the little preview button up here that has the eye icon. So far we have our title, we have student name where the parents would choose their child, and we only have one question. Does your child have any food allergies I should be aware of? No, yes, and other, where they can provide more information. I'm going to close this and go back to our form to continue working on it. Now you're going to continue clicking the little plus sign to add any additional questions that you want on your student survey. Once you have all of your questions in your survey set, you can either leave your survey as a continuous form or you can break it up into sections or pages. What I mean by that is that in my sample survey, if you see at the bottom, I have page 1 of 3. And once the parents finish filling out this part of the survey, they will click next and move on to page 2 of 3 and then page 3 of 3. So page 1 has the logistical questions, page 2 has questions regarding the student learning, and page 3 is anything extra the parents want to provide. So in order to make these pages, what you have to do is on the side, you're going to see 2 little lines that look like an equal sign. You're going to click on that where it says add section. Now you want to make sure that you want to select the question where you want to add a section to. For example, I have my first 4 questions are kind of logistical questions and I want those grouped in one page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the last question that I want on that page and then I'm going to click add section. So now after that last question that I want on page 1, it's going to say after section 1 continue to the next section. Now I have my questions on page 1. And then you're going to see this tab that says section 2 of 2. This would be your next page. You can title this page or leave it blank. I'm going to title this section student learning just because that's what these questions are about. Now I only have 2 questions related to student learning. So what I'm going to do is click on the last question right there and I'm going to click add section. Okay, this is going to create a 3rd page, 3 of 3, and I'm just going to title this comments because this is where parents can add any additional information. Now what we're going to do is personalize our form as well as change some of the settings. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this little gear that says settings, and you notice here we have 3 subheadings in the top. So we're going to start with general. If you want to collect parent emails, you can check collect emails, and then you will have an additional question in your survey where parents can type their emails. The only thing that I'm going to change here is under presentation. I'm going to click where it says show progress bar. That way parents can see that there are 3 total pages that are a part of this survey. And I'm going to uncheck link to submit another response. Now down below where it says confirmation message, all I'm going to type here is a thank you and then click save. The next thing we want to do is go to responses and we're going to click on those 3 little dots. And what we want to do is make sure that we get notified anytime there's a response from the parents. So I'm going to make sure that that is checked off. All right, now that we have our settings ready, we can personalize our Google form. So let's go back to the questions tab. We're going to click on the paint palette. Now you can choose an image for your header of your survey, or you can upload your own image. All right, I'm just going to choose one of the presets. And you can also change the color scheme, your background. You can choose one of the preset theme colors, or you can click your own, as well as change the font style. I'm just going to leave it at basic. All right, so now we are done with our survey. I'm going to click preview just to see what it looks like. Okay. Now, one more thing before I go to share the survey with the families is I want to make sure that all of my questions are required. So I want to make sure they all have that required tab on. And I can do that just by clicking on each of the questions to see the settings of the question. Once I've double checked my settings and my questions, I am ready to share my surveys. What I'm going to do is click the send button. And then I'm going to click on the little link icon and I'm going to copy this URL here. I can also shorten the URL and copy the shortened version of the link to the survey. If I click on the tab and paste that survey, it will take me directly to that Google form where the parents can fill it out and submit. To check the responses, all you have to do is log back into your Google form and click on the responses tab. And if you have any responses, they will appear right here. So on this page, you will have a summary of the questions answered. You can also view the responses by question, as well as by each individual. I find the easiest way to view responses is through the Google Sheets spreadsheet. So if you click on this little green icon right here, you will automatically have a spreadsheet created by Google based on the responses received. So if I look at my Google Sheet here, I only have 2 responses, and each column will give me information in regards to each question that were on my survey on the Google form. The great thing about this spreadsheet is that it is updated live. So as new responses get submitted on your student survey on Google Form, Google will automatically update and populate the responses on the spreadsheet. All right, there you have it. That is how you can create a digital student survey that you can send to your students' parents. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to view more content just like this, don't forget to subscribe. I will see you in the next one.